I'm not a lawyer, but have y'all heard what's going on down in Mississippi? Child, they done found 215 people buried behind a Mississippi jail, and people are asking questions. It started back in October of 2023 when this woman, Betterstein Wade, had been searching for her son for 7 months. Betterstein last seen her son, 37-year-old Dexter Wade, on March 5th when he left home with a friend, but he never came back. Betterstein reported him missing and called and followed up with the police for months asking if they heard or knew anything about him. Betterstein was pleading for help on Facebook trying to find her son. Police repeatedly told her that they didn't know anything until 172 days later when she finally got some answers. Betterstein learned that less than an hour after her son Dexter left home that night, he was struck by a Jackson police car as he crossed the interstate. And even though police knew Dexter's name, because he had a prescription with his name and contact information in his pocket when he was hit by that police car, and they had Betterstein's name, they still did not contact her to tell her what happened to her son. Nor did they tell her what happened when she was repeatedly calling them asking if they knew anything. In October, so 7 months later, Betterstein was told her son was buried in a paupers field next to the Hinds County Jail's penal farm. Betterstein and her sister drove out to the field to find her son's grave marked by only a number. And although police say, quote, the accident was investigated and it was determined that it was in fact an accident and that there was no malicious intent, Betterstein's family history with the police is one that makes her less than trusting. Because in 2019, her 62-year-old brother died after a Jackson police officer slammed him to the ground. The officer was convicted of manslaughter, but he is appealing. Betterstein's family filed a wrongful death lawsuit accusing Jackson officers of excessive force and attempting to cover up their actions, and accusing the city of failing to properly train and supervise the officers. But the city has denied the claims and said it is not liable for what happened to Betterstein's brother. A federal judge has dismissed some of Betterstein's claims and others are still pending in court. Attorney Ben Crump came on board as Betterstein's attorney in the matter regarding her son, and according to him, quote, based on the records from the coroner's office, since 2016 and the last 8 years, we can identify 215 individuals that were buried behind that jail in that same paupers field, and their families have not been notified. 215 bodies? And that includes the family of 40-year-old Mario Moore, who was killed in 2023. But there was a period of time in which Jackson police were not disclosing more than 20 homicides that had taken place over the year. So when the agency finally releases the names of those 20 people who were killed, Mario's name was on the list and his family was shocked to see it. According to NPR, the city's director of communications said that the grave is, quote, not a secret burial ground. In those graves are the bodies of those who went unclaimed by family when they died. These persons are either homeless people, inmates from local jails who died but relatives never claimed their bodies, unidentified persons who officials were never able to connect with the family, or even persons who died whose families couldn't afford a funeral. Child, I guess.